Hello, all the beautiful and my favorite people. Welcome. Hopefully, you all have a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Z. In case if you don't know, I am a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. If you're not yet subscriber to this channel, please make sure to subscribe. Not only will you be supporting me, but you also will be helping a lot of other individuals finding this valuable and completely free content. If you're also not following me yet on Instagram, link is below. Please make sure you do follow me on Instagram. Again, not only are you going to be supporting me, but also that's where I show up daily, giving you tips, guidance, and advice. Today, I want to give you three very important tips that you can utilize, that you can have it in your toolkit on those days when you need to combat gender dysphoria, those bad days, those bad days when they roll around and gender dysphoria just happens to hit you. Let's be honest, having those bad days sucks. Having bad days in general sucks. When you're having a bad day in regards to gender dysphoria, not only can it completely destabilize you, but it can also trickle down in the rest of your week. That's the crazy, insane power of gender dysphoria. And when those bad days happen, a lot of you know, it can feel really, really devastating and really depressing. And you know, those bad days when you roll out of bed and you have the whole day planned out and you have all of the things that maybe you're even looking forward to achieving or the tasks you're looking forward to performing. And then you go to bathroom and all it takes is to look up in that bathroom mirror and suddenly you're hit with this tsunami wave, gender dysphoria, and all of a sudden everything crashes down. You can go from feeling great to feeling miserable. You can go from feeling neutral pain to feeling excruciating internal turmoil and internal pain and anxiety. You can really feel like you're destabilized. You can feel like the rock has been pulled from underneath your feet. Oftentimes, you have heard me describe gender dysphoria as silent assassin, as one of those ninja assassins that you don't see that will strike at you when you least expect it. And that's sadly, the nature of gender dysphoria. It has no pattern. It moves in its own ways. It fluctuates. And a lot of times it will make you experience those awful, terrible, bad days when it feels like that. Exactly like tsunami of dysphoria has just hit you, or as if a whole mountainside of bricks has just fallen at you and you're buried underneath all of this weight, unable to get up. For some of you, those bad days could be, I would say, somewhat in a pretty mild to severe category, meaning some of you are able to actually pull yourself together, get dressed, go to work, attend to chores, all the while feeling incredible misery, a sense of depression, hopelessness, deep discomfort with yourselves. And for some of you, it could be so destabilizing, especially if you have other things in your life, such as other health concerns or mental health concerns, that it can be so destabilizing that you find yourself in bed, literally unable to get up and literally unable to continue with your daily activities. So there's going to be a range depending on your circumstances, also depending on your coping styles. And when dysphoria hits, it's like I said, it's really bad. And the worst thing about it is it can and does trickle down towards the rest of your week for some of you. And then before you know it, it was just one day, and now it is 7 days of unexpected dysphoria, doom, and gloom. And like I said, all of you who felt it, I know that everybody has felt those bad dysphoric days. I really, really, really sympathize with you. It's no way to live, and it must be a terrible way to wake up and to confront your day. So, when dysphoria hits you, when you have those bad days, there's definitely, without a doubt, certain things you can do. Now, will those things completely take care and get rid of dysphoria? Probably not. But chances are, if you implement all these three things or just one of those things, it could help you tremendously to get through the day. In the very least, it should be able to help you to not have a trickle down and affect the rest of the week, or at least lessen the effect of dysphoria for the rest of the week. So, the first thing that is going to be very important for you to do to combat dysphoria on bad days is to find a way to immediately ground yourself. Grounding is going to be very, very essential. And for some of you who are prone to dissociation, this is going to be very, very hard because if dysphoria hits you really bad, your coping tendency is actually going to be to dissociate. I really encourage and challenge you not to do that because that's just going to make things even worse because now you're prolonging the effect of dysphoria, not only for the day, but like I said, for the rest of the week. So, what would grounding look like for a lot of you? Grounding would be to find a way, and I'll give you some exercises to get out of your mind. Remember, dysphoria, even though we feel it physically in our body, dysphoria then takes roots in our mind, and that's when our mind starts spinning blockbuster narratives, spinning a sense making, the way you make sense about what is happening and what you're feeling, that prolongs your pain and suffering. So, getting back into the body is going to be very difficult. And I know that it sounds almost counterproductive because you're trying to almost evade the body because you don't feel congruent or aligned with your body. And here I am asking you to actually get grounded in a body. And yes, grounding is going to help you because it's going to get you out of your head and into your body, and it's going to drastically quiet the chatter of dysphoria. One of the groundings you can do is if you can immediately do 10 to 15 to 20 to anywhere maximum 30 minutes of some kind of exercise. If you have any equipment at your house, maybe you have a stationary bike, maybe you have a treadmill, can you hop on it for 10, 15 minutes and just start moving your body? If you don't, if you have a pet, if you have a dog, can you take your dog for a walk? Can you yourself go outside, get fresh air, go for a walk? Now, if you can't do any of the exercise, can you just get really down on the floor and can you just start tactile feeling the sensation of the floor, feeling what it feels like the floor underneath your hands, underneath your body that you're sitting on the floor, underneath your feet. Get outside and sit down on the grass. Get outside and sit by the tree. Hug a tree. Yes, I know I said hug a tree. That's right. Hugging a tree is a great way to center yourself and to circle energy. And that's because the trees are so grounded. Anybody who's ever anxious, who ever tried to hug a tree, I guarantee you know what I'm talking about. Do those things. Try to find yourself to really bring yourself back into body. If you do yoga, that would be fantastic. Stretching, moving your body, any kind of movement is going to help you. If you found yourself being hit with dysphoria when you woke up and you're still lying in bed, getting up and moving is the best thing you can do. Now, remember, our movements, right? When we move, it shifts our emotions. Think about the word emotions. In motion, right? So it's literally emotions in motion. There's no surprise why so many people recommend when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling gloomy, they recommend for you to get up and move your body, maybe even dance to the music of your choice. Why? Because you are shifting your energies. And by shifting your energies, you're shifting your mood. So get up and move. If you can't exercise, put on your favorite song and try to just dance a little bit. Yes, it's going to sound feeling. Yes, it's going to feel ridiculous when you feel so bad. And yes, it is also going to help. So if you're all for trying to do whatever it is that's going to help you combat dysphoria and bad days, do it. Nobody has to see you jiggle wiggle. You can do it privately in your room. Sometimes I jiggle wiggle and I feel, let me just say, ridiculous. I do it on my bad days and I just have bad days, not in regards to dysphoria, because I don't experience dysphoria, but on the days when I just experience, you name it, right? Got a nasty email, suddenly gloom. So get up and move, grounding yourself. If there's not a single particular outlet that I just shared with you that appeals to you, all you got to do is get on Google and Google grounding exercises, and you're going to get a ton of ideas. So that's the first thing you can do. After you ground yourself, The second thing that I highly recommend for you to do is realign yourself with your goal, your gender goal. For some of you who are going through gender transition, what is your goal? And for a lot of you, your goal ideally would be where you had it. What are the gender transition steps you're taking? So if your goal is to fully transition, and if your goal also includes passing, realign yourself with that goal. If you're in early stages of transition and your goal is to feel more confident and comfortable, realign with that. The way you're going to realign with any one of your goals is I want you to close your eyes and I want you to visualize and reconnect to seeing yourself in a way that you desire and in the way that you dream of seeing yourself. Viscerally imagine not only what you look like, what you sound like, but also what are you wearing? How are you expressing yourself? Are you smiling? Do you look happy? Imagine yourself. When you imagine your future, and remember, it all starts right here with our imagination. Everything around me right now and everything around you right now at once was conceived as an act of imagining by somebody else. This microphone, somebody once imagined it. This desk, somebody once imagined it. My glasses, my earrings, somebody once imagined them. It all starts in our mind and then it becomes a reality. If you can imagine it, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. So realign yourself with your goal. Remind yourself of where you're heading. Remind yourself that bad days are going to happen, but you got all of the resources, all of the resiliences to get there. Realigning with our goals is powerful. This is how anybody who's ever into business knows the same kind of idea of realigning with your why. What is your why? What is driving you? It's just like behind anything else. I make on this channel a lot of analogies to weight loss because it's so ridiculously similar in mind process in a lot of regards to gender transition or to getting more comfortable with your gender. And the same thing when people want to give up on weight loss, imagining and realigning with their goals gives them a boost. It's fuel, it is motivation. So visualize and realign yourself with where you're headed. And again, if you're in the very early stages and you don't even know where you had it, I'm going to tell you right now where you're headed is to be dysphoria free, to be a person with clarity. So visualize yourself having clarity. Visualize yourself not waking up and being struck by dysphoria. Visualize yourself being free of dysphoria. This is where you're headed then. The third thing that you can do that is going to then, after you ground yourself and realign yourself with your goals, it's going to further help you combat gender dysphoria on those awful bad days, is throw yourself in, bury yourself in if you have to, activities, tasks, work, chores, whatever it is that you needed to do the day that has nothing to do with gender, focus on that. Our minds, when they are preoccupied by a particular task, put dysphoria on a background. It might still be there, but it will be like a very quiet fan going in the background versus this ginormous loud noise in the foreground holding a megaphone. This is why so many of you who are workaholics know that the minute you sit down at your desk and you throw yourself into work, you tend to either forget about dysphoria, even though it's there, or you tend not to feel it to such extent. Again, healthy distractions in this case by focusing on things that you still have to do in your life. Use, this sounds not very fitting, but do use advantage, even though it's not advantage, do use the fact that this is such a bad day as a way to then hyper focus on everything else you've been putting aside that you need to have done. And that's going to help you again either make dysphoria be very quiet or minimize the noise of it. Is there a passion? Is there like a hobby you're passionate about if you're not employed? Do you like reading? If you do, pick up a book, open up a book and start reading. Distract yourself. Healthy, we're talking about healthy distractions. Why am I emphasizing healthy distractions? Because there's a lot of unhealthy distractions we also engagement. Sitting on a couch and binge watching TV once in a while is fun. Now, if you do it all the time, you get conditioned to using that as a coping mechanism anytime you have a bad day. And before you know it, that sludging on a couch affects your health, your productivity, your work, everything else. This is why I want you to focus on healthy distractions. Again, if you're unemployed, do you need to declutter and clean a particular room in your house? Do you need to go do grocery shopping? I'm sure, I'm positive every one of you has something you need to attend to. It's just called adulting and reality of living. I have a stack of papers on my desk that I keep putting aside. Distract your mind in a healthy way is going to be your best tip following grounding yourself and realigning yourself with the goals. So when dysphoria does hit, also please do acknowledge and not be so hard on yourself that that's just the nature of dysphoria. Now, you can't control when it's going to hit you. You can't control how you feel about it. And three things that I just gave you, especially if they're all combined together, are going to put you in a great position to be able to control it and minimize, if not completely make it go away, the effects of dysphoria on those really bad days. So please make a note of them. Also, on days when they're not so bad and dysphoria still hits, any one of these three strategies is a fantastic coping things to have in your toolkit. Because you gotta have an access to a number of resources in your toolkit. Because sometimes particular resource may not work. So that way you have something else you can reach for. Comment below, let me know. Maybe you have another fantastic coping strategies you want to share with everybody else when bad days strike for you. Share below, comment, and I will see you all next time. Bye.